Dad's given me a 9% leeway, so we should be fine. But there's not now you've probably guessed I'm the best man. Well, I'm the second best man, and I'm only the warm-back. So feel free to come time on the training call or the gym. There's a lot of struggle before the headliner is up. Now, I won't lie, I'm a bit nervous. I was a bit worried about it. There's a lot of pressure on the best man. And I mentioned this to Chris. He told me he's generally nervous, apprehensive, he was queasy about picking up the bill. But joking aside, it really meant a lot to me when Chris asked me. It's such an honour, a privilege, race to be picked as a reserve best man.
You did such a good job with the rings.
But it all came about when Chris already asked me, asked me to be mine. And we and Chris worked together, and Chris had already asked Chris to be mine. And I think basically he didn't want to get awkward around the office. He really wasn't mine. But hopefully I won't make it too awkward today. And I do say what happens on the stag, most of it stays. But we'll get onto that later. But I must thank Catherine's dad, Mike. Lovely speech. It's really clear that the bride is not only beautiful, but she's caring, generous. She's a strong woman, and she's an amazing sister. She's really helped her sisters over the years, recently. And Chris, honest, really nice words. A bit soppy, but it's evident that you're perfect. So basically, I'd like to thank you all for coming today, really. I know a lot of you travelled from all over the place to be here and to share this wonderful day with Chris and Catherine. I know it means the world to them for coming here. You're going to make an amazing day for them both. And we're here today in a beautiful venue in South Yorkshire. And a little bit different here in South Yorkshire. I'm a Yorkshireman, but they say things a bit odd. So if anyone offers you a bread cake, apparently that's a logical term for a bread roll. I'm a bit upset. But a man who understands all this, Sheffield lad, and a lifelong friend of Chris, and somehow ended up in Brighton, but he's got all the best qualities of a Yorkshireman. I'm going to hand over to my co-best man, Adam, who's going to tell you a little bit about the groom's early years.
Thanks, Chris.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Yeah, well done, Chris.
For those of you that don't know me, my name's Adam, and the groom and I have been friends since we were 5 years old. I'd like to point out before we go any further that the man many of you know as Chris has never been Chris to me. Even as a 28-year-old man, most of his friends know him as Skell. And before that, he was Skelly, a nickname only used these days by Catherine at the insistence of Chris during some of their more demented nights of lovemaking. Skell is the eldest of 4 Skells, Mr. and Mrs. Skell, or Mr. and Mrs. Skelly, as they have on 4 occasions called each other. Just setting the tone, everyone. That's the worst of it. Skell had a happy childhood, raised by his mum, Kat, a Greenock bookkeeper, and his dad, Alan, the renowned bouncy castle hire and microwave repair tycoon. Some of my earliest memories of my friendship with Skell were the afternoons we'd spend in his house, wrestling in the garden, football in the driveway, and tripping over broken microwaves in the hall. A happy childhood it may have been, but as Skell entered his teenage years, he embarked on a journey of self-discovery. First came the gangster rap phase, and the birth of MC Skell, which began with a gold chain from Argos, peaked with a surprisingly successful attempt at freestyle rap battling, and ended when his dad smashed up his favourite Jay-Z CD with a hammer. far as I remember it, mostly involved designing logos for his crew, drinking Red Bull, and holding his brother's bags while they skated. Then we had Skel the metalhead, who listened to Metallica, dressed in black, and stopped cutting his hair. Unfortunately, even by this point, it was already receding. He's still growing it! 15 years! Eventually, though, Skel met Kat, who helped him to finally discover his true self. The man his friends had always known him to be, Old Man Skel. Flat caps, woolly jumpers, and Boddingtons. Yeah. Chris and Catherine were actually introduced to each other by myself and Rachel, one of the bridesmaids here today. Rachel was Kat's best friend, and Skel was mine, and Rachel and I were ourselves a couple before she mercilessly smashed my teenage heart to pieces like it was Skel's favourite Jay-Z song. Unlike most couples that meet as teenagers, it was clear from the start that Skel and Kat were made for each other. We've always known it, and Skel knew it from the first time he saw Kat on that momentous night in October 2004 at the Sheffield Entertainment Boardwalk Bar and Grill. You see, just like his father before him, Skel had always wanted a Catherine to call him Skelly. Which, if you remember the start of the speech, is a very good They fell in love, but a couple of years later they left the Steel City for university. Kat earned a place at the prestigious University of Durham and moved north to study modern languages. Woo! Modern languages fans in the house. And Skel took the A629 to Huddersfield, having heard there might be a university there. 4 years later, he completed his degree in multimedia design with additional electives in bouncy castle inflation and it was at Huddersfield that he met his other best man, Chris. Now, it's fair to say that Skel's come a long way since the night that he met Kat.
Yeah, Skel we know now is a man of sophisticated taste. This is the guy who took a £100 bottle of Japanese whiskey on a stag do and forbid anyone else from touching it.
Whereas back in the day, Skel was happiest drinking gin and Sunny Delight, raising a bottle under Sir Harold Jackson's primary school playground.
Skel we now know officially refers himself as a foodie. He only eats free-range meat, always on a bed of probably quinoa, no gravy anymore, it's just loves you.
Whereas back in the day, Skel was raised on a strict diet of ice pops, strawberry Nesquik, and leftover Yorkshire puddings covered in golden syrup.
And Skel we know though is of course a happily married. So beautiful.
Happily married.
It seems as though he's really got the ladies figured out. You know, whereas back in the day, well, not back in the day.
Let's just say he was pleased when he met Kat.
Well, as Adam said, Adam and Rachel introduced Chris and Catherine to each other. Adam started the ball rolling, and I basically carried Chris to the finishing line. I mean, we're the matchmakers. And I've been with my girlfriend, sorry, fiance, Lex, for 6 years. And she was quite strict, giving me a 5-year limit. So for 4 years and 364 days, I told Chris that I was going to ask Lex to marry me. And I wanted his opinion on the ring. Now, although Chris has a terrible fashion sense, double denim, he apparently thinks he's fine. He's actually an incredibly talented designer, and he's got a great eye for these things. So I don't know if this is general knowledge, but basically, he came with me on the Tuesday to look at a ring. And on the Thursday, he said he'd been thinking about it, but he bought a ring for Catherine. Might be something with the fact that a 50% sale on that first. But the pressure was on, I think. But after a few bit of negotiations and exchange of cash, I let Chris pop the question. But as Adam mentioned, I met Chris again. We didn't actually become friends until the 3rd year, and luckily he got his cross-dressing stage over the gym. And he didn't get his fondness for Chinese ladies of the night out of his system until the stag do. It was a really good, but I'm going to skip that one. But today isn't actually the first legal partnership Chris entered into. Chris and I have been partners for 6 years. Well, partners for 3 years, and for tax reasons, directors for remaining. But Alan gave us his blessing from the outset. Alan and Kemm have been very helpful in us avoiding HMRC as our bookkeepers and his essentials. You see, work is what actually brought me and Chris together. We set up at Zionism together. And Chris and I just started off with just the two of us. And I remember we used to drive around to pictures in his red Corsa with the faded panels, blasting out his second favourite Jay-Z. And then we used to park around the corner and walk in around the front because we didn't want to look like Delbo and Boddie. But we've both come on a really long way together, and Chris now drives a very fancy Audi. But for nostalgia, Catherine has put a few dents in the panel. But growing a company together, trying to make our way in the world is a bit of a roller coaster, and it's hard work. Really, there's ups and downs. And working with someone who you respect, admire, and trust certainly makes it a lot easier and enjoyable. I love my job, but I'm really lucky to work with a best friend. Now, at uni, I remember us going out for nights out. And some of you might know, and you'll find out later, that Chris and I are die-hard drum and bass fans. I've been influencing a little bit. But we used to go out, and we'd stay out to early hours on drunken weekends with a few of the guys around here. And during these weekends, Chris would always like disappear off for an hour or two in the afternoon. And I'm like wondering where's Chris gone? And I was finding writing a letter and drawing little pictures and doodles, and he wouldn't be disturbed. And he was always making the time. And I looked at Catherine writing her letters because they were apart. And no matter where he was or what he was doing, he's always made the time for Catherine. And I've always respected him for that. I've never met anyone who puts someone first like he does with Catherine. I know he'll always care for her and look after her for the rest of his life. And Mike, you've obviously known Chris for a long time, but Catherine is a very interesting person. Now, Catherine, we've joked about me being Chris's work wife. Yeah. Now, from the hours of 8 till 7 p.m. is mine. All yours after that, I'll do the alternate weekend.
Now, Skel, I know that I've spent the last 5 minutes being horrible to you and laughing about things that happened years ago, and really that's no different to any other 5 minutes. But I just wanted to take a sincere moment to say that you've been a best friend to me for nearly 25 years, and I couldn't be happier for you today. It's been an honour to be your best man, as it has for both of us, and I hope you know that in Chris and I have got friends for life. And Catherine, I think everyone here will agree, you look absolutely incredible today.
Yeah!
And I want you to know that although the cliche would be to say that you've just made Chris the happiest man in the world, I think what's actually true is that he's been that for the last 10 years, and that's all because of you. So thank you to Catherine, everyone. So, ladies and gentlemen, looking at the bride and groom today, I would defy anyone to find a more perfectly matched couple. It's obvious to everyone here that in Catherine, Chris has found his soulmate. You might say that Chris is the gin to his sunny delight. She's the Durham to his Huddersfield. She is the golden syrup to his Yorkshire Pudding. The broken microwave to his bouncy castle. She is the smashed up Beyonce CD to his smashed up Jay-Z CD. So if we could all stand, if you can, and raise a toast to the happy couple, to Skel and Kat, Chris and Catherine, and for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. and Mrs. Skelton!
Woo! Mr. Skelton! Woo!